Sunshot was the very first exotic that I got when Destiny 2 actually first released. Now, it has since been reworked to synergize with Solar 3.0, so I figured I would take it out of the vault and take it for a spin inside of PvP just because I love hand cannons, and this is a unique hand cannon because it is the only and last 150 in the game. Now, it does have some interesting traits with it, and one of the biggest traits is called Sunburn. This weapon fires explosive rounds and highlights targets that take damage from sunshot, and upon killing them they will actually explode. And the other perk with this weapon is called Sun Blast. Targets killed with sunshot explode in solar energy. This weapon also has accurized rounds, so you do get a bump there in range, and it has 100 recoil. Now, it does come with a catalyst, and that pretty much bumps up the range as well as stability. Now, for whatever reason, if you do not have this weapon, you will actually only be able to get it from exotic engrams, or if Xur happens to be selling it for that week. Now, I was doing fairly well inside of PvP with this weapon, and I really wasn't spec'd out to play with it. This weapon has seen some changes, and I was overall impressed with the target acquisition and how well it felt inside of PvP. Now, one of the best things about this weapon is it does apply Scorch now, so it does work with our Solar 3.0 subclasses, which before it didn't, and that pretty much led me to a build, and I decided to go back to an old favorite, which is Ashen Wake. Now, a while back when Mountaintop was reigning supreme, I would actually use Mountaintop and Ashen Wake. I would rain down on everybody, come up to them real quick, shoot off Mountaintop, and then I would throw my fusion grenade, get the kill every time. Sometimes you could actually kill all 3 enemies at one time if you were playing trials or what have you, and it was very, very satisfying. So I decided to pretty much go back towards that route, except this time we are using Sunshot and we are going to be using Ashen Wake. We'll be able to synergize our 3.0 subclass, and we'll be able to get a lot of detonations, or ignitions as they call them. Now, 2 things you will obviously need to make this build work is you will need Sunshot, and you will obviously need Ashen Wake, and I'm going to call this build Awaken Sunshot, and I think the name is very fitting for it. We will be creating a lot of sunspots, and we will be doing a lot of damage to a lot of targets. We will have sunspots everywhere. We also have a couple of new fragments this season that we will use in this build. So first and foremost, you're actually going to have to get out Ashen Wake. I suggest getting used to playing with it. Also, 2, you will have to slot in fusion grenades. Don't forget to put on fusion grenades. I know it happens pretty frequently. People will forget to put on the fusion grenades, and then the build doesn't work, and then they're upset. Next, you will need Sunshot. I recommend getting used to using the hand cannon. If you're not using the hand cannon as often, it may feel a little weird to you at first, but I promise you, once you get it down, you will see explosion after explosion. Now, for my first aspect, you're going to want to use Soul Invictus. This pretty much gives you your sunspots, and it basically states Solar Ability Final Blows, Hammer of Soul Impacts, and defeating scorched targets create sunspots. Your abilities regenerate faster and super drains more slowly while you're standing in a sunspot. Now, the beautiful thing about sunspots, they apply Scorch and they deal damage to targets caught inside the sunspot. Sunspots also provide restoration, so if you walk in a sunspot, you will actually restore yourself, and that's beneficial for your health. Now, for our other aspect, we are using Roaring Flames, and it basically states Final Blows with solar abilities or ignitions increase the damage of your solar abilities. It stacks up to 3 times, which is beneficial. You'll really crank out a lot of damage with these solar grenades, and it is a beautiful thing to behold when you are actually seeing all of these explosions. Now, for our fragments, the first one we're going to be using is the Ember of Char. Your solar ignition spreads scorch to affected targets, which this also gives me a bump in discipline, so I get my grenades back. We will also be taking advantage of Ember of Ashes, which states you apply more scorch stacks to targets, and this is beneficial with Sunshot, as well as our grenades and all of our scorch combined that we apply to targets will actually increase it with this fragment. And with the Ember of Ashes, once you increase so many scorches per target, you will actually create ignition, and it is to times 100. So you definitely want to be running this fragment. That way you can increase the opportunity for more ignitions when you're actually using this build. We will also be taking advantage of a brand new fragment called Ember of Resolve, and Solar Grenade Final Blows cure you. So this helps with that survivability, as well as the sunspots that grant restoration. Now to get this fragment, you do have to go to Ikora and actually purchase it. I believe it's 25,000 glimmer if I'm not mistaken, and then you just meditate by the statue and you will have this fragment. It is important to have because it does help you stay alive, especially when you are surrounded by a lot of enemies. Now we will be taking advantage of Ember of Torches, which basically states powered melee attacks against combatants make you and nearby allies radiant. It does take away from the grenade a little bit, but I like to be radiant as much as possible just so I can deal with anti-barrier shields. And also it does give you that bump in weapon damage, so it's nice to have. +2 with Ashen Wake, you will always have grenades. You will always have grenades with this build. You'll literally be able to set everything on fire with this build, so it really doesn't hurt that much to not actually have as high discipline as you'd want to. Obviously you do want to have as much discipline as you can, but when you throw the grenade with Ashen Wake, you actually get a portion of your grenade back, so it's very beneficial. +2, when you stand in sunspots, you also regenerate your abilities a lot quicker. And then the addition with the mods that we will be using, we will also be able to get grenades back a tremendous amount, and as well as orbs of power. We'll have tons of orbs of power, especially in the background gameplay. I get like 7 to 8 supers. It is phenomenal to actually play with because you're really just setting everything ablaze. Now Ashen Wake has a perk called Bring the Heat. Fusion grenades now explode on impact and gain increased throw speed. Final blows with fusion grenades grant grenade energy. And it also states on here that fusion grenade kills grant grenade energy based on enemy rank. So minors, you'll get 25%. 50% for elites, and then 100% for versus enemy players, mini bosses, or bosses. The only way you can get Ashen Wake is from exotic engrams, or if you do the lost sectors, the legendary lost sectors, when the gauntlets are available when you're on the Titan class, it would also drop there. And then you also have an opportunity to get there from Zur as well. Now one thing about these fusion grenades that you have to understand is you don't want to throw them too close to you. So if there's an enemy standing right in front of you, don't throw the grenade because you will actually kill yourself. So it's not like the hunter class, whereas the hunter, when they use the Ahamkara spines and you activate the trip mine grenade, you don't take any damage. Well, with the Titan, if you use a fusion grenade and you're up close, you will take damage from your own grenade. So just keep that in mind. You can accidentally kill yourself just like I did in the background gameplay. Now this brings us to the actual armor mods that you want to use. You can take advantage of armor charge, but we really don't necessarily need it. We have higher ability uptime as is, and we don't really need to actually take advantage of armor charge at all. I really didn't want to use grenade kickstart because we're already getting grenade energy back on kills with Ashen Wake. So I stuck with impact induction, so when I throw my hammer, that'll feed me and give me grenade energy. I also stuck with bomber, and I use ashes to assets. And the ashes of the assets will actually give me super energy. So the more of those mods you actually have stacked, the more super energy you actually gain. But keep in mind, it is with diminishing returns, so you won't get the same amount as one mod equipped. Now you could use solar weapon surge. That is also a fantastic mod to use as well, but I did not utilize it in my build because I'm mainly taking advantage of using my super, creating sunspots, and using these fusion grenades. Now, unlike the other builds that I've actually posted on my channel, this one is actually kind of viable inside of PvP. You can take this in PvP and absolutely wreck with it, especially if you're very good with Sunshot and placing those grenades in the perfect timing. You can create sunspots and kill a lot of players. Like I said, I used to use it a lot before Mountaintop got nerfed. That was one of the biggest things. You could get that splash damage with Mountaintop and then follow up with a grenade, get the kill every time. You didn't have to do anything else. It was very easy. Now with Sunshot actually able to apply Scorch, and you have the grenades, if you could time it just right, you will do very well inside of PvP. You just have to perfect it and get used to it. Now I know there's a lot of people wondering why I'm not using Prometheus lens. I didn't want to use that trace rifle just because I did post another trace rifle video that's centered around the Warlock, as well as I'm actually getting used to using Sunshot again. I haven't used it in a long time, and since I was doing so well with it in PvP, I decided to make a build for it in PvE. So those are the main two reasons. And then with the Scorch rework, you are able to apply Scorch stacks, and you do get the explosions. Now Prometheus lens, you do get the incandescent perk and stuff like that, built in with the catalyst, and that's great. If you want to use Prometheus lens, that will work with this build. I believe a couple of other content creators actually made a build similar to this using Prometheus lens, and that's a fantastic option as well. You can go that route, but I wanted to make something with Sunshot. Now the only drawback with Sunshot is I know we do have capabilities of defeating champions, but it would be nice to have like unstoppable hand cannon or something like that in our artifact mod, but we do not this season. But if you are radiant, you will be able to pierce those anti-barrier shields, so that's nice as well. The biggest thing I wanted to showcase with this build is how well Sunshot is performing this season after all of the changes, and then how well Ashen Wake has held up over the years, given all the recent reworks to Solar 3.0 and Sunspots and everything else. And it is a fantastic build to play with. I absolutely enjoyed it, and you can see in the background gameplay, you just set things on fire. There's really no right or wrong way to play with this build. The gameplay loop is pretty much the same. You want to spam your fusion grenades. Normally I will do one shot on the enemy and then throw the grenade, and once you do that, you pretty much just have the ball rolling every time. There's no other setup, there's no other needs. You can perfect this build maybe a little bit, but if you are running the solar siphon mods, you will generate tons of orbs of power, and you will have high ability uptime with this build. And as long as you don't kill yourself with your own fusion grenade, you will have the survivability with Ember of Resolve, which Solar Grenade Final Blows cure you, and the Sunspots provide that restoration. Also too, you can't forget about Roaring Flames. Once you hit Roaring Flames ×3, you will do more damage. So that's a big deal, and you can proc that with either your powered melee ability or your grenades. You don't have to just spam grenades to actually get the Roaring Flames ×3. So it's a phenomenal build. I hope you all enjoy. If you enjoy this video, consider leaving a like rating down below. And also, if you enjoy this content, I will have more content out in the future. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It is a free way to support me, and I greatly appreciate it. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I will see you all inside the Iron Banner once that comes back. I do have a couple more videos planned later in the week, so stay tuned for those. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I'll see you all in the next video.